is here. Thanks, Julie.
Mhm.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another exciting meeting at ITU Toastmasters. In life, I'm sure you must have faced situations where you need to develop something and talk on the spot. Everything cannot be prepared, and every situation you cannot go prepared. Example, writing an exam, you are going prepared. Rather, if I ask you to give a presentation, you must go prepared. But what if somebody puts you on the spot and asks a question that's out of what you prepared for in your presentation? Rather, say you're giving education session and somebody asks a question that you don't know, or rather you are not prepared for. Even your relationship is based upon certain questions. And trust me, these answers that you give on the spot makes a difference to your relationship, makes a difference to your status as a leader, makes a difference what you're as a person, because this impromptu skills, this critical thinking, are talking on the toes makes a lot of difference to your personality. Let's talk further, but right now, let me introduce the structure of the meeting and introduce our workplace today. We're going to have 3 sections as usual, any meeting, and our meeting is scheduled just for 1 hour. We have 2 prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. Our role plays today is the timer. Julie is in. So Julie, are you able to do the timer role? Great, thank you. So she'll be using virtual backgrounds, green, amber, and red. If there's an issue, we'll have support from Carol on that part. The grammarian for today is our friend Viveka. She has newly joined ITU Toastmaster, but she's so bubbly and ready to take different roles to improve herself. Viveka, do you want to introduce your role and also introduce the word of the day?
Thank you, Raghu. Fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. Word of the day is vim. The spelling of the word is VIM. It's an old-fashioned word. It's a noun, and it means enthusiasm. So we can say at 70, Julie is still full of vim and vigor. I just hope the pronunciation of Julie is Julie. She can correct me. Idiom of the day is as right as rain. It is specially used of a person. It means feeling completely well and healthy, especially after a long illness or minor accident. So for example, I've been ill for past 2 weeks. So you can ask me, how are you? And I can say as right as rain. Thank you. Thank you, Raghu.
Thank you very much, Viveka. I request you to put the word of the day and the meaning and usage in the chat so that people can refer to it while giving speeches or going through the impromptu section, the table topics. Now, our counter for today is Ayushi, and she will help us to take care of our breaks while we are doing our speeches or roles, and she will give her report in the end when meeting evaluation is on. Coming back to the topic, how do we do but this part when life is impromptu? How do we go with that? What are the techniques that you're going to give? Let me help you with that, how we can do better on the impromptu part of life. Now, what is all takes for impromptu speaking is your critical thinking. Think critically what is necessary, what is a message you're going to give there, and organizing your thoughts and putting that into one good message. And again, think about it. You know, when you see a cow, it eats and then also again takes to repeat that by eating, pulling that the food out and then chewing it and then sucking it in. Same way, whenever you give a speech or whenever you're attempting a table topic or whenever you're talking impromptu, try to think what could have been better and chew it and then suck it in. Next time you're going to do much better. That's how you improve. I like this quote. It says it takes 3 to 4 hours to prepare an impromptu speech with just 1 to 2 minutes. Why? Is something that I explained here. What all goes into preparation as impromptu is your building of the well of knowledge, or the well of knowledge, I would say. And what goes into well? It may be something that you're learning from your self-story, your stories, or you're reading different things. It may be rituals, it may be magazines that you're reading, books and looks. When you read the books and also when you read others, what you're learning from others, then popular lines that you pick up. It may be a movie, a Bollywood, a Hollywood movie. You know, there's so many lines that you can pick up from there. And then quotes, popular quotes that you can pick up. It also can be a family history. I always love to pick up stories that my grandmother or mother has given me, and that has helped me, whether it is prepared or impromptu speeches. The last is the trivia. It can be facts, myths, or interest. So, for example, I try to link things to history or my coin collection, especially. So that way, it is kind of builds part, like interesting. It brings the interest to what I speak. Now that you have your well built, second thing is time. Time is very critical. You need to impress. You need to make that impression within 1 to 2 minutes. How you are going to do matters a lot. How you organize your thought process into that 1 to 2 minutes message. Second thing is identify your strengths. Now, from your well, you need to bring what is your strength. Do you like storytelling? Or do you love talking about facts, analytics? It can be anything. So identify that strength and pull that from your well. Now that again, keep on building your well because that is necessary. Once you keep pulling, it may look redundant if you keep repeating that message. And then develop your style. What's about style? What are you going to talk about? It might be your question. We'll talk by each technique between our meetings. So I'll start with the first technique. The famous technique that is used is prep method. Point, reason, example, and point. Point. For example, given any topic, let us say your girlfriend asked a question, boyfriend asked a question, maybe your boss in the office, at any point of time, this is a famous technique that you can use in any scenario. You make a point, maybe you agree to that, you don't disagree with to that, and then you give a reason why you do that. When you give a reason, then add to that an example. It can be any example. Let us say your girlfriend asked whether you cheated on her. I didn't cheat on you. Give an example when you have done some good thing for her, and end it with a point that I am not a cheater, I'm an honest guy. Just kidding here, just trying to give an example that we can connect with. So point, make a point, a strong point. Why agree or disagree? And trust me, the people who make a difference is when in the debates or when it comes to your office discussions. The people who disagree and give a strong reason and strong examples are the people who win. Even in the competition, these are the people who have high chances of winning. We'll talk about it more, but let's go to the meeting proceedings. We have two great speakers lined up. Before I invite first speaker, let me invite Toastmaster Susan to give speech objectives for the first speaker, DTM Vijay.
Thank you, Raghu. Our first speaker is Vijay, who will be presenting the Level 1 Evaluation and Feedback, the second speech. This is the opportunity to apply some of the feedback that was offered in the previous speech in this project. A well-organized speech in any style, but incorporating some of the feedback that they'd received. Raghu?
Thank you very much, Susan. The topic that DTM Vijay has brought is something in line with the theme of the day. Let me invite the speaker on the stage. DTM Vijay, what we see versus what is. What we see versus what is DTM Vijay.
What we see, how we see, changes from person to person, from time to time. Agree? Thank you, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. What's behind your eyes holds more power than what is in front of you. Last week, I was in a train journey. I was sitting in the window seat, and right in front of me, there was a young man in early 20s or mid 20s sitting also at the window seat. It looked like both father and son were traveling together. This young man had a nice outfit, a khaki pant and a pink shirt. And in this digital age, he had a wristwatch. And the father was kind of not as crisp outfit he had, but he was little tired and maybe he had a long day, but both of them had a jolly good time together. They were very cheerful, talking to each other and sharing ideas. What caught my attention was, as the train started moving, this young man said, "Dad, I see people waving hands. I see the trees moving." Then he said, "What is that, Dad?" I peeked through the window and I saw a curvature of birds flying. Dad said, "They are called geese." Then he looked again and he said, "What is that white thing? Is that the cloud?" Dad said, "Yes, you're right. That's where the water from the sea evaporates and goes there, and then we get the rain from." Got it. Again, as this train was moving, he said, "What is that flashing? I see the red and blue light flashing and moving." Dad said, "That is aeroplane." And the young man said, "I remember you reading me the book about Wright brothers. Don't we all read to our children the books at the impressionable age?" But my neighbor was sitting next to me, was perplexed and puzzled. He was just wondering what's going on. And he said to the father, "Maybe you should take your son to a doctor. That might help to diagnose or identify if he has any health condition." And the dad just gave a beautiful smile. "Yes, we are just coming out of the doctor's clinic. He was in the hospital for a week. You know what? 2 weeks ago, my mother passed away, and she donated her eyes to my son. He was born blind. How do you feel? The boy got the sight, and my neighbor got the vision. Have you ever experienced those visions? Last Saturday, I was in the cafe, and it was jam-packed. After the lockdown, people were everywhere, sitting down, and some of them were giggling and laughing and having fun. And I also met a couple who were waiting for their daughter, who just had a college entrance interview, and she was going to join them and share her experiences. I also saw people standing up in the line for ordering. Some were frustrated. Maybe they were there for 10, 15 minutes waiting in the line. But across the table, what did I see? I saw the person who is taking the order, the person who is collecting the payment, and the another person calling out the names whose orders were ready. These people are not just serving food. They are making sure that the family and friends, they sit together and have a jolly good time together. From there, I drove my car to a car mechanic for auto registration. One man was fixing the tires. The other one was doing the oil change. And you know, these men are not just working for paycheck. They are making sure that seniors like me and young parents with toddlers at the back seat are not stranded in the streets on the highway. Yesterday, I was in my grandson's school for Grandparents' Day. All the children were performing. All the grandparents were sitting on this side and the teachers were sitting on the other side. I looked at those teachers. These teachers are not just teaching our children to read and write. They are opening the floodgates to our young minds to explore the mysteries of the world. As I entered this Zoom, I saw the timer. The timer is not restricting me. The timer is making me to use the time productively so that I can use it really well. I see the grammarian. Grammarian is not there to belittle me, but to improve my vocabulary and making me a better communicator. And sure enough, our counter, who is preventing me from stuttering and stammering, Tabletop Master, is triggering the imagination, creativity in all of us. Last but not least, I was always nervous about the speech evaluator. Until one day, I got the vision. The speech evaluator is holding the torch in front of me so that I don't trip, tumble, and topple. My friends, what is behind our eyes has more power than what is in front of us. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Talking about a second technique. Pendulum method. You all know how the pendulum works. Center, go to right, go to left. And then again, come back to the center. How do you do that? Is you start with one side. Explain your view on that side. Go to the other side. Explain your view on that. And then come with your point that you think is neutral. Let us say if I ask you, do you think COVID vaccine is harmful? Talk about what are the two views. One that says that it is harmful and it gives a lot of pointer to it. Explain your view on that. Again, go to the other side, which says it is not harmful and it is very much necessary for us to build our immunity towards this disease. And again, talk your views on that. Third, come to your neutral point. You can say, for example, if you ask me to say, so there are two different views. For me, I think that the COVID vaccine is ineffective at all. I didn't see a side effect. I didn't see any positive effect because even after taking 2 doses of COVID, I and my entire family had to suffer 1 full month by COVID. And that affected a lot even after we got healed. That's your talking. Talk on the one side, your view, talk on the other side, which is again your view on that part, and come to a neutral point, which is your own view. This way, you're going to cover 2 different views, and then you're also talking about your view, especially when you are doing research. For example, let us say your boss asks you to come up with a research on a topic, a new technology that you're going to implement in your office. Or let us say you're going to implement a new technology for your, let us say your business. Let us say that you have to research something where you don't know anything on the side, uncharted waters. On that part, when you're doing this research, you expect the person to talk about two views. If he is not talking about the pros and cons and then his view, think treat him as a salesman. He's trying to sell his idea to you and he is not trustworthy. Now we'll go to our second stage. We have another great speaker. She also a returning Toastmasters to ITU, and she is from ITU and she's a staff there and a student too. Before I invite Toastmaster Grace as second speaker, let me invite this exciting and young man who was a Gavalier earlier and also a returning Toastmaster who joined ITU recently to give the speech objectives for Grace. Jaideep.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu. Today, I will be Grace's evaluator. Grace's pathway is Innovative Planning Level 1. Her project is Evaluations Feedback, and this will be her first speech. And her speech title is Lola's Gift. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Jaideep. Toastmaster Grace, Lola's Gift. Lola's Gift, Toastmaster Grace.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. It was about 4 in the afternoon. I was rushing home from school, and as I opened the door, a 5-foot old woman opened the door for me. She was full of vim and vigor. Immediately, she asked me in our native language, "How's school?" I responded immediately saying, "It was okay, Grandma." Instantly, she would follow up with me with these words in our native language saying, "Halika, alam kong pagod ka na, kain tayo." Meaning, I know you're tired, come, let's eat together. And the routine will continue to be the same every day, except for this particular afternoon. I remember I was in 5th grade at the time. This time, I was about to open the door of our house when a woman who looked just like her opened the door for me. This time, she was younger looking with long black hair. She was my mother. And seeing her instinctively, I felt something was different. She uttered the same question that my grandmother would ask me, "How's school?" Her voice was shaky, and she was on the brink of crying. And even before I uttered my response, she sighed and said, "Your grandmother is gone." I immediately ran towards my grandmother's room, hugged and kissed her goodbye. And from that time on, my 4 o'clock in the afternoon routine has never been the same. Looking back, I realized that those times, my grandmother in her old age gifted me with 3 things. First, she gifted me her time. She knew her time on earth was limited, and being the youngest in the family, she wanted to devote whatever was left for me. She wanted to do it to express her love. She explicitly gave those 30 minutes to an hour conversations to listen to my stories and to teach me about things on life and family. One thing I learned from my grandmother: the best gift that you can give to somebody is the gift of your undivided time. Being able to hear and listen forms a special bond and connection. The second thing that my grandmother gifted me is her treasure. My grandmother, being known to be the best cook in our town, delighted our afternoon conversations with sumptuous snacks. On a warm afternoon, our conversations were filled with freshly baked pastries, and on cold afternoon, she would treat me with a flavorful hot bowl of soup. Her talent for cooking is a gift that we in our family are lucky to inherit. But despite having that, I knew that no one in the family can copy her cooking style. Her cooking is her gift of love for us, an act of service, and a love language as well. Third, she gifted and taught me about trust. During our afternoon conversations, my grandmother would share to me confidential secrets about our family. It was our best kept secrets, and I would share some secrets to her as well. And never did she ever tell anyone about mine or about the other people's secrets who would confide with her. My grandmother imported me the importance of trust. When you trust one another, you can feel safe and secure, knowing that somebody is on your back. She can be relied on for care, comfort, and support. Indeed, if I only have a time machine, I wanted just to go back on those particular afternoon conversations with my grandmother or my Lola. I wanted to stop that moment for a while and just savor our time together better. So I invite all of you, my fellow Toastmasters, when given those moments with someone that you love, don't take it for granted. Stop and give your undivided to, just like what she did. Express your love through your acts of service and build special bonds that create an atmosphere of safety and trust. For you will never know how long it will last. Back to you, Toastmaster.
All have one or other personality as Lola in our life. And I agree with you, Grace. We should not take it for granted, and we should live each and every moment before the person leaves forever. Moving further, a similar technique that in line with the pendulum technique is the balance method. And how does a common balance method, when you catch it at the top, it does two sides go up and down. Especially you see in the code, don't you? What it does is to weigh the both sides. And it's just like the views are on any point. It can be pros and cons. It can be how many people are giving support to the one side and how many are supporting the other side. Use this technique when you don't want to let us influence a person. You just give him the choices, or he are the choices. Talk about the pros, or talk about one of the view, and talk about the second view, and give the weightage to both. And then leave it to others to decide what they want to do with the specific thing. And that will make it effective. Now, when it comes to other techniques, is the problem solution. Trust me, when you apply this problem solution method in your speeches or your impromptu speeches, it's going to be very effective. People love to see a problem and a solution to it. If you just give a problem and then leave, it doesn't work well. But when you're giving a problem, stating or identifying a problem in a situation and then giving a solution, that's when people will love you and also take that speech forever with them. The next technique is talking in the timeline method. Let us say somebody asks you to talk about fashion. Fashion, someone like Julie or Susan, or let us say BJ, or maybe even any one of us. We have seen fashion as a trending thing in different ages or different years, different centuries are different. That is talking about rather decades. It changed a lot. And it also became a circle. What it was in 70s have become a fashion today in some part of the world. So something like that. If when it comes to talking the timelines, talking when you go in a sequence for people to get the message properly. Past, present, and the past, present, and what you expect in the future. And then conclude it. What is fashion as per you? If I say, talk about what you think it was a fashion then, fashion at present, and what you foresee as a fashion in the future. Then conclude. Fashion is as per you, what you think is appropriate. You don't have to depend upon what people think is fashion. So you can conclude that way. The last, I want you to think about this, how to make your speech appropriate. This is judging criteria for table talking contest, but I want you to get your focus on this because this is also a judging criteria for people when they look at you while you're speaking. The speech development matters a lot. It takes the greatest weightage in your speaking, 30% of the weightage. And then how effective you are, it can be your logic, it can be your directness, or your entry purpose to your speech. It's about 25% next. Then your physical appearance, it can be your hand gestures, your eye contact, your voice modulation. It all comes to the 15 plus 15. Then vocal varieties, and then when you're adding your, let us say, emotions, are you able to add emotions to your speech doing the voice modulation? And the appropriateness is rather, are you in talking in line with appropriateness where people can connect with you? The last is correctness, your grammar, your language, your pronunciation, your enunciation, and the selection of the words is that takes the least percentage. But overall, I want you to know in life, there's so several situations where we need to go impromptu because we cannot go prepared. But this preparation was impromptu is what is going to make us better individual and also succeed in life. And I have my partner in the crime, Toastmaster Jim, who is going to help you practice on impromptu speech today. The table topic master, Jim Denser. Over to you, Jim.
Thank you so much, Raghu. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. My first table topics question is for Toastmaster Swathi. Swathi, if you could have your dream public speaking coach, who would it be and why? If you could have your dream public speaking coach, who would it be and why? Swathi.
Thank you, Jim, for the question. So I'm just thinking, I have never thought about I don't have a particular dream speaking coach, but having one to improve my speaking would be really nice. So I can talk about my objective of joining Toastmasters. I consider each and everyone in the Toastmasters to be my speaking coach. So in every meeting, I learn a small thing from each person. And whenever I take up some role, I also learn something from all the mistakes I do. So initially I used to be like so nervous, and even if I'm given a table topic question, I'll be like so scared to speak in front of a lot of people, and I'll speak even if I have a lot of content to speak for a minute or two, I'll just reduce my speech and I'll only speak for like few seconds and then say I'm all done. So I think now I have become a better person, and even if I cannot answer question to the point, I can talk without having that scaredness or fear. So yeah, I consider each and everyone to be my coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that answer. My next question is for Jaydeep. What's the biggest challenge, Jaydeep, that's facing the tech industry right now, and how would you address it?
Thank you for the great question, Toastmaster Jim. I would say the biggest challenge facing the tech industry is the mass collection of data. And so many companies, Facebook, Google, even Microsoft, they've begun to collect people's data with the purpose of selling it for profit. And many people don't even realize that this is going on, but really it interferes with people's privacy, and it's always marketed as something nice. Oh, please give us some small data, but really it's used for very questionable purposes. I think something really should be done about it, and I really do appreciate the lengths that the European Union is going to help control this, but I think a more concerted effort should be put forward to prevent the mass collection of data. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for that thoughtful answer. Appreciate it. My next question is for Roger. If Roger is here, okay, there you are, Roger. My question for you, what is your favorite memory from your 42-year Toastmaster experience? We can't hear you. You're muted, Roger.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Do you want the question again?
Okay, yeah.
What is your favorite memory from your 42-year Toastmasters experience?
Okay. My favorite memory is it's hard to recollect over all the years. Geez. My favorite memory. Geez, I don't know. I don't really know if I have one. It's so long. So I don't really know if I have one.
Okay,
So,
is there one thing that comes to your mind? Like if somebody were to ask you why they should join Toastmasters, what would you tell them? Just one thing.
okay, I tell them that I joined Toastmasters to improve my public speaking and to help me with my leadership.
Mhm.
So what you should do it too. So
Thank you very much for that, Roger. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
okay.
Next question is for Susan. What was your first public speaking experience like before Toastmasters? What was your first public speaking experience like before Toastmasters? Susan.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, my first experience in public speaking would be show and tell. First time in school, the first thing we do is bring a favorite toy, and they'd ask for volunteers. And of course, my hand would go up and go, oh, pick me, pick me. I wanted so very much to be the one that could share with everybody the love of whatever little trinket I had. Then in 6th grade, there was an official public speaking class. And the teacher had the opportunity to ask rather impromptu type questions. And we needed to answer, and our knees shook, and we were all nervous, and nobody really knew what to say. But then the teacher turned the audience on and said, comments, criticisms, what do you think? I have to say, it's amazing I joined Toastmasters after that experience, because I don't think I heard anything positive. Everything we heard was negative. You didn't do this, you should have done that, I wish you would have done this, or this was bad, 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 bad. I walked away in the hall of shame and didn't want to join Toastmasters for fear of that same experience. But much to my surprise, they didn't pile on all the negatives. I already knew what those were. They told me the positives. Find something good that I did. Wow, I enunciated my words clearly, he said. 27 years ago, I will treasure that comment forever because I never gave myself credit for it. How wonderful it is that Toastmasters doesn't focus on the you didn't, you shouldn't, you couldn't. They focus on the positives. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you so much for that answer, Susan. Much appreciated. Hopefully I have time for 2 more questions. For Grace, what is the best way for you to relax your mind? What is the best way for you to relax your mind, Grace?
Thank you so much, Table Topics Master. So basically, in order for me to relax my mind, I do 2 things. I read books, and second would be I watch my favorite television show. That's the 2 things that I do. I read books practically. I love reading historical books, autobiographies. So I enjoy just getting to know a lot of people through the books that I read and learning a lot of things from that. And second, I love watching medical shows in TV, and I just enjoy binge watching Grey's Anatomy and this kind of TV shows. Most recently, I've enjoyed Bull, which is like a criminal trial show, and I've been doing that for the past 5 days, and I just enjoyed being able to see a lot of stories unraveling how they're able to help the defendant get out of the case because of a particular incident. So these 2 things, reading books and watching TV shows, are my way of relaxing and my mind. Thank you. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much for that answer. Appreciate it. And my final question is for a guest, if Margaret would not mind. Let's see, I wanted to know, Margaret, what is the first thing that you say to yourself when you get up in the morning?
Usually it's, I appreciate the day. Thank you very much for that table topic. We are practicing gratitude at my house. So for a long time, I would get up and say, thank you for the day. Thank you that I get to be here for the day. And then in February, I had an accident while I was downhill skiing, and I had a major injury to my shoulder. So now when I say thank you for the day, I also say thank you for the healing. Thank you for the getting better. And it's helping. And I know there's a couple people here know it's been a real struggle for me. I've never been injured before, and my heart goes out to people that are injured and are looking for words of encouragement. If it wasn't for our Toastmasters clubs, because I was stuck at home, we would have been not quite so cheerful and happy about being injured and at home without Toastmasters, because everybody in Toastmasters is, well, let's rephrase that. Most everyone in Toastmasters is friendly and supportive. And some people, I've met a lot of people in Toastmasters that have a heart of gold. They really do want to help and help you be the best you can be. And one of the reasons I love Toastmasters is I enjoy helping others be the best they can be. Therefore, the first thing I say every day is thank you for the day, and thank you for that excellent question. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Appreciate it. Next question is for Sangeetha. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Sangeetha, if you have a friend who has a really severe stuttering problem, how would Toastmasters help that person?
Okay, can you please repeat once more?
the question, if you have a friend who has a really severe stuttering problem, how could Toastmasters help that person?
Okay. I would like to thank you for the question. I would like to clarify the question. Is this the same as stammering problem, while speaking?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Toastmaster is a good, safe place where anybody can practice their speaking skills, and especially when they have any problem like this. So people here are more considerate, understanding, and very supportive for their efforts that they put in, and very encouraging as well. So definitely, this is the right place for anybody to improve, not just the speaking skills, even somebody with any problem related to speaking. So definitely, I would suggest any of my friend facing such a difficulty to join this. So it will help them boost their confidence, and slowly they feel comfortable with their speaking. So they feel accepted with their problem, and it kind of helps them express, and that itself is a big thing for them. So definitely, this is what I would advise them, that this is a really good place to be and learn here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so very much for that. Thank you. And next question is for Kranthi. I hope I'm saying that name right. Kranthi. What is your favorite dish to cook and to eat? What is your favorite dish to cook and to eat? Kranthi.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for the table topic. My favorite dish, I would say, I would not really say one or two. I it really takes the stress out of me, and I enjoy the pleasure in serving as well. And I would name one or two. It's like biryani and some non-vegetarian chicken curry and all. Uh, I do enjoy cooking. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Do I have time for one more question, Raghu?
No, done. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, everyone, very much for the vim that you showed in answering my questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Topic Master Jim Denser. What I want to reiterate is this impromptu preparation will help you a lot in every walk of life, whether you are the job interview that where you're attempting, where you need to talk on the spot, and your critical thinking will help you a lot in that point. Or even in your life, I and my wife don't fight anymore. It's just the table topics. It's another fact that there's no time limit while she speaks, but there's a time limit for me. She shows a red card as soon as I finish my 1 minute. Well, the jokes apart, let's go ahead with the third part of the meeting, which is our feedback evaluation, which will help us a lot in life. The first speaker today was our beloved DTM VJ. And the evaluator is our, again, the lovely lady, Toastmaster Susan. Susan, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Raghu. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and VJ. Wow, are you the consummate storyteller? I was captivated, as I'm sure all of the audience was, of the story on the train. You included such details that we were just all hanging on to find out the message. You used wonderful gestures through it when you had your own smile and the pointing to the wristwatch and the two individuals, the boy and the father, and the clothing descriptions. It was so picturesque that I could envision it. I was on that train with you. And the story then turns around that the boy should be going to the hospital for his problem, only to find out that he has the gift of sight and he's seeing these wonders for the first time, the clouds, the birds, everything was so new to him. And I could hear in your voice, in your vocal inflection, the emotion through that part of the story, because it was slow, it was dramatic, and it was captivating. And then you went on to a few extra examples to show your theme of what you see versus what really is going on through the servers and the mechanics. And I loved your wisdom that they were providing, the mechanics were providing the safety, and the hostess in the restaurants providing the family experience. But what was most memorable for me was the teachers that are opening the floodgates to the young minds. Boy, did that take away this wonderful message that you were conveying. You gave your word choices very clearly. I understood and heard everything that you said, with one exception. Towards the end, when you were describing the various roles and the messages to that, you sped up just a little bit, so I had a little struggle to capture all the thoughts that you had. And I don't want you to be nervous about me as an evaluator. There's no reason. You're not going to be toppled. I always think of the positives. To challenge and grow, I would like you to watch the video back of this, because there was some opportunity for your microphone that when you put your hands to the center, it sounded like paper rubbing against it, and it became a bit distracting to the message. So play back the audio, the video, listen to it so that you can hear those places where that did occur. I want to congratulate you for such a wonderful storytelling. I loved your message, and it was very strong, and your audience was captivated. Mr. Toastmaster Raghu.
Thank you very much, Susan. This Sanskrit shloka, it says, the word says that a person who has faced difficult situation can really understand what other person is going through. I'm sure the difficult situation you went through the criticism that you face in life has made you a better evaluator and the friendly and lovely evaluation that you give. Thank you very much. It's time for the second evaluation. Our second speaker was our beloved Toastmaster Grace, and young and dynamic, the hero of the club, Toastmaster Jaideep is the evaluator. Jaideep, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu. Grace, that really was an amazing speech. And I really liked how you really engaged the audience. And I think this regret of not spending enough time with the person that we loved and kind of wanting that back is something many people can relate to. So I think your word choice and the way you structured your speech really captured that well and presented that all in a very relatable way. A couple areas where you could challenge yourself. You started off very strong with the vocal variety. And I think if you had maintained that a little more towards the end of the speech, especially when you're talking more about how you wish you would spend a bit more time with Lola, I think that would really help with adding more emotion there. And also maybe a little more in the way of gestures. You did a great job, but maybe a little more might have helped with building of emotion. And one more positive that I actually forgot to mention, near the start, the story building, the way you mentioned the lady with the long black hair, that was my mother. I really liked the way you introduced your mother and your grandmother in that fashion. So to summarize, areas for improvement, a little more vocal variety near the end, and maybe use gestures a little more. And areas where you excelled, story building, engaging the audience, and creating a very strong and relatable story and speech. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Jaideep. Little feedback. I would say structure your evaluation a little better when you are giving evaluation. Put 2 strong points and then 2 improvement areas and 1 wow point from the speech. And when you are summarizing, put the positives first and then put the improvement areas second. That's fine. Otherwise, a great point that you pick up from both the improvement and also the wow point that you pick up. Thank you. A great evaluation again, Jaideep. Thank you very much. I always love the conference that you bring. The audience comfort is so cool. Probably your experience as a Gavalier and also the past Toastmaster is helping you a lot to do well here. Thank you. It's time to know how we did in the meeting, rather the meeting proceedings. Let me invite our grammarian for today, Toastmaster Viveka, to tell us how was the usage of language, in English language, and also the word of the day. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Raghu. Am I audible?
You're audible.
Yes, I would like to start with the word of the day. That was Vim. It was used by two people. I was very surprised it was used by Grace in a speech. And it was also used by Jim. Thank you. I really appreciate both of you for the same. And I really, yes, pronunciation, I would go to the pronunciation. It is not beloved, it's beloved. Even the US pronunciation is beloved, and even the UK pronunciation is beloved. As many of us are not native speakers of English, so we do have a problem with pronunciation a bit, and it happens. So it's not, it's cafe. So we need to be a little louder if we are not native speakers of English. So it can be like that. I mean, we can work on it. People use, I really don't want to point out the name, but we should avoid using and a lot in a sentence. And this, and this, and this, and this. What we can do is a very good way to do is, which I am also trying to learn, is to break my sentence. So if it is a long sentence, we can break, and it's a very good habit of writing small sentences. It's an art to write small sentences. So we can break the sentence, and instead of using and, we can say one, then full stop, then second point, full stop, and then third point. I really like the word stuttering. I don't find people using this word. It actually means kind of stammering. Yes, it is. It actually means stammering. Twice people used it. I loved floodgates. I just love this usage. Jolly good. A lady used jolly good. It was, oh my God. I'd heard my father using this word, jolly good. So jolly good is like an explanation. How did you do? Jolly good. Jolly good, like, wow, amazing. It's used for such situations rather than explaining a situation. So it's just an expression, jolly good. It's not, I also liked sever, the usage for time, experience. It's not how school, it was how was school. What did you do at school? So it's not how school, it's how was school or how was your day at school. One thing that I would like to mention, sorry, there are so many actually. There shouldn't be many. I'm doing it for the first time, so I may be wrong. Please pardon me for the same. Singular noun has singular verb, and singular verb is, I'll just give an example. It has an S to it. So generally what people think who are not native speakers, they think that, take is a singular one. No, takes is a singular one. So singular noun has a singular verb. Just make sure, and it's a very common mistake. Everybody does that. Perhaps sometimes not in writing, in speaking. Example, answers makes. So it's answer, so that's singular noun, singular verb. Once again, it's not particular dreams. When we are talking about a dream and it's particular, that it's particular dream. Yeah, I guess that's it. I love the word used by Susan, captivating. It just catches attention. Thank you all.
What a wonderful job as a first-time grammarian, Toastmaster Viveka. Little feedback for you. You don't need to give such long explanation. When you're giving a report, you can keep it little concise, saying this is the good usage and this is the improvement areas. And then also tell in the last how we can do better, how we can improve. And then you don't need to keep repeating saying we are not native English speakers. It doesn't matter here. We just implement as native or non-native. Everybody makes a mistake. So let's keep it neutral. Okay. Thank
So
you very
I
much.
need to be structured, right?
Yes, I'll help
Bad
you.
usage,
We'll talk
good
it.
usage, and then this is to be improved. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Not bad usage, improvement areas. We don't use bad usage
Sorry.
in the report. Thank you very much. It comes to our counter. Toastmaster IG, what is your report for today?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Sorry, I'm a bit down the weather. So coming to my report, everyone was so amazing. I was listening to everyone with my full attention, but I can say the word. So I'm using the filler words. Pardon. So Viveka used like 10 times. I see Kranti using like 3 times. And, Grace used like 1 time and like 3 times. And I don't see any apart from these people. If anyone has used, and of course me, I'm using like 3 times in this short speech of mine. But yeah, that's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster Raghu.
Thank you very much, Aishi, and thanks for being a sport, even being under weather, coming up for the role. Last but not least, again, the youngest lady in the room, Toastmaster Julie, for her report as a timer.
Thank you very much. To give you the shortest version, each and every speech was within the time limit. The detailed report is first speaker VJ was 6:37, second speaker Grace 5:32, first evaluator Susan 3:09, second evaluator Jaydeep 1:34. The table topics were Swati was 1:22, Jaydeep 52 seconds, Roger 1:25, Susan 2:05, Grace 1:18, Margaret 1:47, Sojin 1:17. No, Sojit, I don't remember the name correctly. And the last speaker was only 33 seconds, that the guest, Kranti. Thank you.
Very much, Julie. What I love about this group is making that effort to pronounce even the difficult names. My name was mispronounced different parts of the world, including India, but I had to come up with a speech, what's in a name. But then I'm seeing a community, a group of friends who love to pronounce the names without any issue. I know, especially the Indian names are so difficult, and I love the way that Jim and Julie making that effort to pronounce it properly. I love your voice, the excitement that you brought to your report, Julie. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Life is not a prepared speech, but you can go prepared. You can go prepared for those situations by reading a lot, calming yourself for any situation. Don't get a rather excited, overexcited situation. You learn to respond and not to react. Once you learn that attitude, once you let's keep yourself in a situation where you can stop reacting, because it is very natural to get angry. Even I get angry when people speak negative or shout at me anything, but then I learn to calm myself, think or delay my response by few minutes, and then I start responding and I don't react. So delay if necessary. And then start your critical thinking, how you can deal with that situation. And trust me, when you deal these situations much better and not react, you are a great leader. In one of the situations, I saw there is a cultural difference that caused difference between me and another person. I said in a different slang that it is my headache to take care of her to get a certain title. And she thought that I feel it is a problem, while I was saying it is my responsibility and not a headache. So there was a misunderstanding and that went into conflict. While things were just going beyond the situation, we decided to come and discuss, and that resolved the situation. Think of this life like this. Don't react, but respond. And this is what your table topic session in any meeting prepares you for. Just come forward and do practice and learn more. And I'm sure you will be able to deal with those important situations. Thank you for visiting the club as a role player, as a member, and also as a guest. And I want to acknowledge the presence of Sangeeta, Kranti, and Sonal Ponds and Sundari Olga. I would love to adjourn the meeting now and try to get the feedback from our guests.